So we replace the word within with the word in. Here we can kind of see that we're on the right track because now in is highlighted in red and it's bolded. The development environment that you use might do something similar or it might not. So now that we've made the revision, we run the code again. What do we find? Good news, the code now runs to completion. Bad news, although it did not generate an error, it still didn't do what we wanted it to do. We wanted it to print the numbers 1 through 9, but instead it stopped at 8. Correcting this kind of problem can be a bit tougher. When we hit an error, the computer told us specifically where the error occurred. It won't always be as straightforward as the example we saw before, but it will generally at least give us a starting point. Here though, we don't have any such feedback because the computer doesn't understand that the result is wrong. The computer doesn't know our intentions, it only knows the commands that we enter. Fortunately, in this case, the resolution might not be difficult. When we look at the output of the code, we see it printing one less number than we want. We might not fully understand the first line of code, but we might be able to infer that where it says range 1 to 9, that's where we're actually defining the range of numbers to print. We don't know exactly what it means, but we can kind of guess that it in some way specifies the numbers 1 through 9. This kind of makes sense. So if our code isn't printing enough numbers, maybe that just means we need to increase this number to 10. When this says 1 to 9, it prints the numbers 1 through 8. So maybe if it says 1 to 10, it'll print the numbers 1 through 9. This is another cycle through our programming flow. We made some revision, we ran the code, we got the output, and now we've evaluated the output and come to a conclusion on what revision might be necessary. So we return to the first phase of our programming flow and modify our code. We replace the number 9 with the number 10, and we run the code. We now see that the correct results do show up. It prints the numbers 1 through 9. And now based on this, we might build some understanding of what this range function does. We might now think it defines a range of numbers, including the first number, up until the second number, but not including the second number. So fortunately, this was a kind of easy example. We didn't have to know how the actual code over here worked. We just had to figure out that if it's printing one too few numbers, maybe we need to raise one number. If you didn't follow it though, don't worry, we'll do a lot of practice on this to make sure you get it. As our code gets more complex though, tracking down the cause of the errors can get more difficult. So in the next chapter, we'll cover more advanced ways of uncovering these kinds of problems called debugging.